Good evening, industry colleagues. I welcome you all for today's webinar, which is hosted by Food and Drink Processing Expo. Thank you for joining us for today's session on challenges confronting biscuit industry currently. Mr. Sundar is a bakery professional spanning 4 decades with an engineering background as well as food technology. His professional achievements include being the R&D head of Britannia, the creator of Sunfeast range of products, and with over 15 years experience as a food processing consultant with footprint in over 30 odd nations and almost all the states of India. Before proceeding further, we have Q&A at the end. You may post your queries in the chat box. Now, I request Mr. Sundar to take over the session. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being introduced with Lawrence. Yes, I spent 4 decades in the field of biscuits. I started as a management trainee in Britannia Industries and almost 2 decades with the same company before I went into greener pastures, which includes a stint in Dubai and thereafter, returned back to India. I used to be a CEO of a bakery company called Sara Lee Bakery, a global giant in the field of cakes. Thereafter, my journey took me to Sunfeast, created Sunfeast. Sunfeast reached greater heights within 4 years. And after that, I decided to be on my own. Currently, what I do is I'm a consultant, a bakery consultant. Having said that, I would like to get into the topic of the challenges confronting biscuit industry. This is a very, very relevant topic, a topic that is perhaps worrying a lot of us in the bakery industry, in the biscuit industry to be very precise. There are quite a few factors for the situation that we are in today. One, let me at the outset mention that as a biscuit manufacturer, as a nation, we are the largest in the world. Don't go by the internet figures. Internet figures do not capture everything in the country. There are about 150 big players. I won't even call them medium players. When I say big, they are 1,000 tons plus per month player. There are about 150 companies and we are close to about 8.8 million tons of biscuits per annum. It translates to about $10 billion. Check the internet, a global figure will be $75 billion. And we are contributing 10 billion towards that. So that is a situation that we are in as an industry. But the industry is completely, price point and cost driven industry. So we are in a situation, what I call a catch-22 situation, where if we go out of the price points, the magical price points, we are into a very difficult situation. So the industry rightly has diversified into, I would say, premium and upper premium products. And some of the big brands have also entered health segments, health and nutrition segment. If you look at Britannia Industries, when I was heading the R&D, we started a portfolio called Nutri Choice. So we put a few products, where we were not only, in the taste platform, but also into a health platform. We were the first at that time to introduce a nutrition panel, the pyramid, and declare boldly, without it becoming a law in the land, we claim the nutrition that a serving of biscuit delivers. So today, Nutri Choice for Britannia, I'm sure, is a mega brand. A lot of portfolios come under that. But by and large, if you look at the industry, out of the 150, biscuit brands that I'm talking about, majority of them will be doing glucose biscuits. And what are these glucose biscuits? The glucose biscuits are the basic short dough biscuits, a soft biscuits or a sweet biscuits. It's not a cookie. It is a biscuit. A biscuit by definition is a cake that is baked on both the sides. By means you are baking top and bottom. As the biscuit industry started in 1830, they used to have a hearth oven. You used to, bake one side. I think our granny used to do that. They put it on the tawa, bake it one side and then flip it. So when you bake it both the sides, they become biscuits. Now, glucose is the dominant, category in the biscuit portfolio. If you look at the full volume, 50% of the volume is contributed by glucose. But the good news is, over a period of the last a decade or so, The pressure on glucose is now released, and a lot of other variants have also started contributing. The best part is the crackers have taken over, and the growth in the field of cracker is about 30%. You'll be surprised to know that there is an Indonesian company. They have introduced a product called Malkis, Mayura. Mayura in Tamil means, in Sanskrit also it means peacock. It's a peacock brand. They are promoting a product called Malkis. Malkis has been a runaway hit in India. Imagine you are getting a biscuit from a country that does not produce wheat. We are the second largest producer of the wheat. So we have been caught napping in this country. I'm not picking on Mayura. I'm saying they're very creative, and they have been, doing a fantastic service and basically shaking the biscuit industry in this country. So wake up, biscuit industry in India. Don't be only in glucose. Come to the next notch and the notch above. And that is where you are going to see the money. Why money is important? ROS, return on sales in biscuit industry, is 2%. Can you operate at 2%? If you're doing glucose, you're less than 2%. If you, let us say, introduce milk, then maybe you're going to 2.5%. Moment you go into Mari is another large category. Mari is a hard dough biscuit. Mari is a large category in this country. About 10% of the volume comes from Mari biscuits also. It is glucose is 50, Mari is 10. So what about the rest? The good news is cream biscuits have taken over. The growth in the cream biscuit has been pretty good. Again, price point driven. We are again stuck at 5 rupees and 10 rupees. There was a time when I started my career in Britannia, the cream packet used to be 13 rupees. Today it has come to 10 rupees. How can something in 79 cost at 13 rupees and now it is 10 rupees? So the biscuit industry has done a lot of magic there. At the same time, we have definitely improved the quality. We have definitely made it mass. So the cost of production has come down. Energy that you spend on the biscuit making has come down. Biscuit ovens are running fast. When I started my career, glucose we used to produce at 6 minutes baking time. Today, Parle G is making at 3 minutes 15 seconds. And what is the length of the oven? It is 100 meters. So it is a mega production, and automation has simultaneously caught up with the industry. The back-end automation, which is handling of flour, fat, sugar, it's all completely automated. And the good part is most of these automations are indigenous. So you're not spending big bucks. You're spending, decent money at where, 500 people work. Today, only 5 people are operating. We are, dispensing all the ingredients into the mixer, from the mixer into the molding unit or to the cutting unit, sheeting or molding, and then oven. You're baking it. Imagine baking just at 3 minutes or 3 minutes, 15 seconds. The number of biscuits you're handling per day run into millions. Automation at the back, at the front end is also caught up, where 1,000 people used to work in packing department. Today, 70, 80 people are working. Most of the machines are automated. Most of the feeding systems are automated. So it is no longer true that you see a whole lot of people working in the packing department. So this is the best part of the biscuit industry. The growth has been amazing. In 40 years, from hardly 300,000 tons, today we are peaking at 8.8 million tons per annum. But what are all the challenges that the industry is facing? The industry is still trying to be at the safe price points, thinking that volume is going to give you the money. No, you can no longer produce at 5 rupees. If we are going to produce 5 rupees, then the money is going to go out of your pocket. The fat shortening, what used to cost 60 rupees, less than $1, per kilo, is today $2.50, 170 rupees a kilo. And without fat, you cannot produce biscuits. So when that is a challenge, how do you address the challenge? The only way the biscuit industry can address the challenge is, yes, operate a small portion in the safe zone of 5 rupees and 10 rupees, but look for value addition, look for creative products. Please go to the supermarket, modern trade, department stores, and see how many products are there. Quietly notice a lot of imported products are there. And some of these imported products are not coming from UK or Scotland or US. They're all coming from a neighborhood. They're coming from Bangladesh. They're coming from Indonesia. They're coming from Thailand. They're coming from Sri Lanka. So obviously, these nations have overtaken us in terms of product portfolio. I'm not trying to say for a minute that we should not be importing these biscuits. These imports will open our eyes, will make us climb up the ladder, will make us take these products seriously. We have to compete with them. Can we compete with them? Of course, we can compete with them. Please understand, if you take the fat out, the rest of the ingredients are all available in this country. We are the second largest producer of wheat in the world. The best of the best quality wheat is actually made in India. It is better than whatever that you can think of, better than Ukraine wheat. It is better than Turkish wheat. It is better than US so-called, hard winter. Our awareness about such wheat availability is poor. In terms of sugar, we are the largest producer of sugar in the world, 31 million tons. Do we consume that much? No. We are happily exporting at subsidized rates. So we have sugar. We also have jaggery. If you take sugar out, jaggery is another popular, sweetener in this country. Are we putting jaggery to good use? So jaggery is a solution. Apart from wheat, in Tamil we call it siridhanyam. Siridhanyam are millets. There are 7 different types of millets which are very, very popular. I mean, I can name at least 20 small bakery units who make a killing out of making cookies out of these siridhanyam. But what do? We go to, big, large department stores and buy quinoa at 500 rupees a kilo. All these siridhanyam are 60 to 70 rupees a kilo. So do we have a plot there? Yes. We can make wonderful cookies, combining the various nutritional properties of these millets in combination with wheat, of course, and you make wonderful cookies. So you have to diversify your portfolio. You have to climb up into the next ladder. If you want to survive in this category of biscuits, you have to be creative. When we were trying to make dark fantasy way back in 2004, dark fantasy, for the benefit of other participants, is a cookie with center filling. When we asked our management to import the machine, they said, why should we import this machine from Japan? What is the benefit it is going to give you? I said, sir, we have motak here. Motak is korakattai in Tamil, with center filling of coconut. And it is a humongously popular, throughout the length and breadth of the country. In fact, the Rion machine, they demonstrated how to make korakattai through the machine when I visited them in their factory. So there are about 20, 30 products which are very, very similar to our various snacks, which can be, integrated into biscuits that can be produced using such technology. Now with the machine, explosion that is happening in our great neighborhood, in China, some of these machines are affordable to us. Chocolate industry has gone through a major revolution in this country when Chinese machines, started being available at a reasonable cost. So it is no longer true that only Cadbury's and Nestle make chocolate in this country. Even in chocolate industry, there are about 30, 40 brands. So can we, do something? Our machine manufacturers, who are actually the largest producer of biscuit lines in the country, in the world actually, put together all these biscuit manufacturers, machine manufacturers, you'll be surprised that the production is pretty high. Only thing is, we as biscuit manufacturers should make a demand on them to make a prototype model of various, biscuit machineries which can deliver so many different snacks which are very popular in this country. And believe me, most of the snacks can be integrated into biscuits. So these are all the opportunities that we have, and better it is not too late for us to get into these, R&D, development, product development, innovations, so that we are able to address the issues that we are confronted with. Everybody is complaining that packaging material has gone up by 33%. Packing, which used to be 8 to 10% of the cost, today contributes to about 15% of the cost. The joke in the market is how much weight I can reduce to make it fit into 5 rupees. And one person came and told me, sir, the packaging cost is about 30% of the total cost. It is no longer 13%. We cannot reduce, weight beyond a particular point to fit into the magical 5 rupees price point. We cannot package air more into the biscuit. So what is the way out? Way out is innovation, 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 not just renovation. The innovation has to be, what is it that is popular in the country? Every 200 kilometers in India, your taste and preferences changes. At the same time, we appreciate the other products also. All of us like idli, dosa, masala dosa. We also like puri. We also like, pav bhaji. We also like so many products which are available around the country. Golgappa is no longer, it is no longer true to say it is puchka in West Bengal or Golgappa in, western part of the country or northern part of the country. Every street of Bengaluru, you get Golgappa. That is how it has captured the imagination of the people. So there is a big lesson here. Can we integrate a lot of products or otherwise popular in one corner of the nation, acceptable to the rest of the nation, and how to integrate the same into our great biscuit vehicle? That is what is really going to take us out. That is why I give the example of Malkis. Mayura introduced Malkis in this country. They were exporting to India. The price was not cheap. I don't think in India we ever had any biscuits at 400 to 500 rupees price point. Hi, Anil. And that being the case, Malkis was introduced here at 600 rupees a kilo. And we were struggling to sell 200 rupees kilo product. But Malkis became an all-time hit. So much so, Malkis, they have opened a factory in Hyderabad. Is it not a lesson for us? Innovation is critical. Innovation is the way forward for us. And what do we innovate into? We don't have to do only potato crackers. You cannot compete our potato with a potato cracker. Believe me, ask all the people who launched potato cracker in this country whether they succeeded. You cannot compete with aloo. But you can compete with so many other snacking types which can be integrated into biscuits, and we launch those products. And that is the most important thing, because aloo is very cheap. You go to Bengal, aloo today is still 10 rupees a kilo, or Chandapura aloo maybe 20 rupees a kilo. So how do we compete with potato chips? It's not possible. Instead of trying to do an aloo act, potato cracker is popular not in Bangladesh. It is popular in Africa. Pran makes potato cracker not for themselves. Pran is the largest exporter of potato cracker. They sneak into our place, into northeastern states. But otherwise, I don't think it became popular. Everything has got a limited life. Even as I'm talking, I find the potato cracker volumes have crashed. So the learning is, let us not do something that is already popular in this country. Let us do the products that are popular in pockets, but that can be, perhaps integrated in biscuits and carried to rest of India. Coconut is not a Kerala product today. Coconut cookies are very, very popular. I'm just giving an example. If you look at, a chocolate and biscuit, Dark Fantasy answered the need for a chocolate biscuit combo. Chocolate cannot be, coated. You cannot do a coating of biscuit because our climatic condition doesn't allow such a product. The best was to integrate, to pack the chocolate inside the cookie, meet the aspiration of the people. Dark Fantasy was a huge hit. Not only Dark Fantasies, Cadbury's, launched the products. I mean, not Cadbury's, you can say Mondelez launched the products. That is also doing decent numbers. Britannia has introduced, Parle has introduced, and all these, and several small bakeries are also introduced, and they're all selling. I'm seeing they're being very creative. They're going to the next step of, doing local fillings, maybe a limited shelf life, but that is also selling well. My suggestion, to the August audience here is, come out of the situation that we are in. The biscuit industry is a crossroad today. The biscuit industry definitely is asking around, do we survive at this rate? Yes, you will, you can. You will actually go up, because all other food, processing items are costlier than biscuits. So we have made a beautiful base. So let us go to the next step. Let us innovate. Let us introduce products which can be a big hit in this country. That calls for a good R&D. That calls for good product development. I think there are quite a few people, experts in the field of biscuits who can, actually meet up, who can easily actually cater to the requirements of the industry. Let us make the biscuit industry grow stronger than ever before. I must tell you here that when I started my career, way back 42 years back, biscuits were all used to be packed manually. There were hardly few biscuits which used to be mechanized, which used to be packed in machines, and those were wax wrapper with a limited shelf life. Today, what are we doing? Today, we are capturing from the stacker directly into the packing machines, all with auto feeders. So we have answered the need, and the wrappers that we are using are laminates. Laminates give you, the gas protection property or moisture protection property, or integrating these two, that has really increased the shelf life of the product. What used to be 15 days those days, today we are giving 6 months in a tropical situation. So we have been creative. Such a creativity has put our industry on the world map. We are the largest producer of biscuits in the world. We are also the largest manufacturer of biscuit machineries and packing machines in the world. Our automations are all indigenous. And the best part of automation is they're not gigantic. You go abroad, you go to Europe and see those automations, McVitie's factory or Danone factories. They're all huge. They're a factory by themselves. But here, our machine manufacturers have been very innovative, and they have made it, such a way that we can accommodate them in the same existing factories. So to answer all your questions, our machineries, our machine industry have been creative. Our biscuit formulators have been creative. We have always addressed the requirement of the market, but for the existential, survival, we have to be just creative. We have to do a lot of innovations. We have to do a lot of innovative products. We have to understand what is popular in that snacking industry, or what is popular, what our grandma used to make before, and can we extend those into, integrate those into our. So this is what I have to basically give us a message. Urge all of you to look at the opportunity that has come your way. Be innovative, be creative, and take the biscuit industry to the next level. This is what basically I wanted to convey to our audience. I'm open to all the questions.
Now we move on to the Q&A session. Sir, we have received a query. How can we reduce the cost in packing?
There are two ways of looking at the problem. You can reduce the packing cost, and I think the industry has done its best. Earlier, we used to have a packing material of 20-20. That is 20 of polyester or 20 of BOPP, laminated 20 microns. Then we came to 18-18. Today, people are following 12 micron PET, laminated 20. We require shelf life in the tropical conditions. So I don't think you can, reduce the cost beyond this. Then you're not going to get the shelf life that you're looking at. The answer here is increase the volume, increase the throughput. Your cost will come down on its own. That is the only way you can do it.
Our next question is solutions to manage the cost of raw material.
Like I told you in the beginning of the address, raw material to us, the tricky raw material whose cost on which we have no control is fat. Earlier in the cream biscuits, we used to use only hydrogenated vegetable oil. We used to call it HVO. But today, are we using HVO in the cream biscuit? We are not using only HVO. In fact, the solution that we are given is use of palm oil in place of HVO. The moment you use palm oil in place of HVO, there is a huge reduction in the cost itself, because the use of palm oil quantity per batch comes down by about 15%. So had you been using, say, 30 kgs of HVO, perhaps you're using only 20 kgs of palm oil. That in itself has reduced the cost. Palm oil is safe. It is trans fat free. Hydrogenated vanaspati still has got trans fatty acid. If you use the other combination, which is bakery shortening, kindly understand bakery shortening consists of stearine. A stearine melting point is 62, blended with oils which are at 14 or 15. Is it safe? No. So palm oil, whose temperature is close to human temperature, our body temperature is 36.4. Melting point of palm oil is 36 to 37. So it is safe. And the cost of its use in the cream biscuit has really come down. And because it is not only the cost has come down, your other materials that you add, like flavors, the colors, they come down, because you're able to deliver the flavor using less. So that is a way to manage the cost.
The next question is how to manage the supply chain, that is distribution channel, in case of a new startup.
I think this is being answered very beautifully by various startup companies in the market. Have you heard of a company called Porter? Did we have Porter before? You have to go to the market, you have to hire the lorries. Today, using an app, you can, decide. And there are several competitions to Porter in itself. So short distances we are able to manage with this. It is not necessary you have to give a full load. So that itself has solved a lot of distribution challenges. Rail services have improved considerably. The container services through rail. Earlier we used to load our containers by lorries to reach the port. Today the train services have been so quick and so sure of its timing, they go up to the harbor. I think that is another challenge that is addressed for mega players. Then you have two-wheelers also, delivering. Apart from the cycle, tricycle, bicycle markets, there are several other opportunities that have happened in this country. Yes, legal metrology is applicable to this very clearly. Up to 10 rupees price point or below, you can maintain whatever weight. Above that, it has to be a multiple of a whole figure. So you please refer to the Weights and Measures Act. That will give you a better understanding.
The next question is, what is the cost effective?
Mr. Sukla has asked a question. We have produced. Yes, sir. It's a very, very good, question that you have put.
Sir, can I speak for a minute?
Yes, sir. Yes. Suklaji, please.
Yes,
sir, I think you must be knowing that Excelsia was the first company owned by Dabur to introduce these chocolate-filled cookies.
Correct.
And after Excelsia, we were the second one to introduce this type of the cookies. And our company was the first company to make branded cookies in India. But being a small player, we made the product, we introduced in the market, and that time everybody was saying 4 biscuit in 10 rupees. Nobody will buy. So again, the thing is that just producing a product is not everything. The main thing is that you must have sufficient budget to sell those products in the market. You must have capacity to wait for some time, and so that by the time it is the market.
I completely agree, sir. There are several links, which have to be attached to make a strong chain. And product development creation is one such activity. Marketing projection is another activity. Sales, distribution, width of the distribution, depth of the distribution is a third chain. All these only make up the business. Suklaji, I completely endorse that you are creative, and this is like Hindustan Lever launching the not Rasagulla, what is that, Gulab Jamun mix in 60s, or Nestle launching so many rubbery mix, Gulab Jamun mix, several other mix. They were wonderful products. They did not succeed in the market. But today, there is a huge demand for these things.
Yes.
So you are all the initial creators, but then the people who made it popular are a different cup of tea.
Why good advertisement means you see the
good packaging, good concept of individual wrap. It was debated for nearly 6 months, and then a good product made it a good sales. But your point is well taken, sir.
Sir, we will try again. It's not the end.
Sir, today the opportunity to sell, even for a small player, if you look at ID, idli mix, we were contemplating in Britannia to do the idli mix way back in 95, 96. We were ready with the product, but we missed the opportunity. A small timer could actually, make it a 2,000 crore business. So there is a lot of scope. There is a lot of social media avenue available today for communication, and with at a lowest cost. I think perhaps that is also a big game changer.
She has asked, legal metrology applicable for biscuits.
Yes, it is very, very clearly applicable. As I explained before, below 10 rupees price point, the legal metrology status is you can follow any weight you want, pack weight. But today there is a twist. Per gram, rate also you have to mention on the pack. About 10 rupees, moment you go about 10 rupees, you have to follow a particular weight, which the Weights and Measures Act, legal metrology will very clearly, state.
Sir, our next question is, what is a cost-effective FMCG food product for day-to-day market?
Biscuit. There is no other product in this country or in the world which is cheaper than biscuit. And the calorie delivers. A pack of biscuit today, earlier 100 grams used to deliver 450. Today, there's no 100-gram pack in the market, at a reasonable price point. So a pack of biscuits still delivers about 300 to 325 calories. It is almost a size of a breakfast. That is why the biscuit volumes are so large in this country.
Sir, our next question is, will highly priced cookies like Danish cookies sell in Indian market?
I have a huge list here, which I can share sometime, which is what are all the imported, biscuits available in this country. How many containers come into our port every month? Anywhere between, pro-COVID, it has gone down. Pre-COVID, it used to be about 200 containers entering every month. And the price points are 2022, 2346, 2660, all this per kilo, 3233, 3938. Ask Shuklaji whether we have ever seen a price even one digit less than this. So some of these products are routine products. A chocolate chip cookie, anybody in this country can make it. And they enter at 3,000 rupees. A simple Walker's, butter cookie, which is nothing but 3 ingredients. They enter at 3,000 rupees. I don't think the packaging has got any merit in it. A dark fantasy packing looks so superior with embossing, debossing, golden printing, and individual wrap. What does a Walker's carry? There is a biscuit in the market called Lotus. Any one of you have heard of Lotus? It is nothing but our cinnamon, Dalchini biscuit. They are selling happily at a small pack at 150 rupees. That is 1,000 rupees a kilo. Nothing but our glucose plus Dalchini. So we have to be, a little more marketing focused also. Not necessarily dump only at the wholesaler and collect the money. We have to worry about the retail outlets. We have to understand who our consumers are, what their expectation, whether we communicate the nutrition label properly. Can we do something so that some vitamins, after COVID, everybody started talking about ginger, everybody talked about vitamin D3. Has anybody come out with a biscuit to address these needs quickly? That is an opportunity. That is a requirement. And biscuit is a great vehicle. We can actually, the same Mari could have been twisted and we could have addressed. We could have added ginger, a ginger Mari. Today, ginger has become a large, shopping item in the basket. So did we make ginger biscuits popular? We always had ginger biscuit for the last 80 years.
Market shares holding for biscuit industry in India as well as international.
Like I mentioned, if you go through the internet, you will find that Britannia Industries commands 32%. Parle is about volume-wise more than Britannia, value-wise less, so about 28 to 29%. Then ITC, they will say 10%. Then, Surya Agro is about 8%. Anmol is about 6%. Then you'll have Bispam is about 5%. But these are all not correct figures. If you do in-depth study, you will find that the leader in the market commands only 15%. The next leader is about 14%. There are so many other biscuit companies who are at 2%, 3%, So if you add up everything, the total comes to 8.8 million tons per annum. Britannia Industries, with all the factories, may be doing about 1.1 lakh or 100,000 ton a month. So 1 million tons per year. Parle is about 1.2, 1.3 million tons. So can you find out how much others are now contributing? That will give you an idea about the market share.
Now
every state can have 2 or 3 players.
Okay.
And they can definitely make a business out of it. I'll give an example. A small state like Assam has got 5 manufacturers and all of them are doing reasonably well. Can you believe it? Not 5, actually more. If you look at Bengal, there are about 40 manufacturers and not small at all.
Now we come to an end, sir. We end up the Q&A session. We thank Mr. Sundar for insightful session and we are grateful to him for sharing his thoughts and valuable inputs to make us understand and rethink our strategy to overcome the challenges in the biscuit industry. So should you require any further inputs, please feel free to reach out to us at mktg@synergyexposures.com. Thank you all.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity, and thanks to all the participants for being patient with me.